Pedro Pascal has created a big name for himself in the industry, and recently he's come back into the spotlight with his role in The Last of Us. But many fans fail to realize exactly how fascinating his journey has been, both in his career and in his personal life. Pedro has had a very successful career so far and has started acting in everything from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where he played Edward, who got turned into a vampire and left the show not long after, to The Good Wife, where he got his first recurring role on a hit television show as Nathan Landry. Pedro revealed that he loved working on the show, and he even had a pretty interesting time on set because they had to shoot in a real courtroom. He was even cast in a Wonder Woman TV show, which unfortunately never aired. Pedro would have played an LAPD detective named Ed Indelicato, who is an ally of Wonder Woman from the DC Comics. Interestingly enough, Pedro got a second chance to play in a Wonder Woman adaptation as he was cast in the DC movie Wonder Woman 1984 as Max Lord. Later, he also had a role in the award-winning show Homeland. He appeared in one episode as a Senate Select Committee member, and even if he had a small role, he certainly put his all into it as he was perfectly convincing as the politician role. But his big break didn't come until his iconic role as Oberyn Martell in the 4th season of Game of Thrones. His audition for the show actually felt pretty amateurish, according to the co-creator and showrunner David Benioff, and it's something Pedro fully embraced. According to him, he had his friends film him on his iPhone, and because they had sent him about 20 pages of material, Pedro decided to just sit and read from them, as he really wasn't going to memorize it all in such a short amount of time. Pedro joked, "And the suckers fell for it. Is that my fault? No, it's theirs." Pedro had an amazing time working on Game of Thrones, and it also opened a lot of doors in the end, even if he was brutally taken on the board. His character's demise was actually deemed as one of the most popular ones, so in a way it was a win for Pedro no matter what. It also freed his schedule for Narcos, which became an instant hit. He played Javier Peña throughout all 3 seasons of the show, and it became his longest-running TV appearance, something he was definitely proud of. However, it took a pretty dark turn when the sequel for Narcos was being discussed. Carlos Muñoz Portal was in Mexico scouting for the new season, but he never made it home. His body was reportedly found in a remote area near the Hidalgo state border. Pedro saw the tragic incident as a reason that the show shouldn't continue under any circumstances before the bosses could guarantee the safety of everyone involved. He said, "We can't do it if it's not safe. We're talking about lives. If they want to do it, then they'll figure it out in a safe way." The entire ordeal got even scarier for everyone involved when Pablo Escobar's brother, Roberto de Jesus Escobar Gaviria, threatened to close their little show down if Netflix refused to pay a $1 billion fee, and even encouraged them to hire hitmen for security. If things weren't bad enough before, they certainly got worse, and we really can't blame Pedro for refusing to continue appearing on the show. Thankfully, Pedro got away from the whole thing when he was offered his famous role in The Mandalorian. Initially, Pedro was actually doubtful of how successful the show would be among Star Wars fans, as it seemed pretty experimental for him. He was, of course, pleasantly surprised to see his doubts be proven wrong, and Pascal had an amazing time on set. He saw the opportunity to work with his doubles Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder as an honor, and revealed that he relied on them a lot when it came to his portrayal of The Mandalorian. He was especially excited to be working with Crowder, who he had previously worked with on Kingsman: The Golden Circle and Triple Frontier. He said, "When I knew he was going to be putting on the suit for this, I was like, yes, I'm going to look so cool." The Mandalorian set did great things for Pedro's popularity once again, as he was exposed to an even bigger fandom than even Game of Thrones, and things only got better from there, as he was also cast to play in the video game adaptation of The Last of Us. He's doing an incredible job with his portrayal of Joel alongside his fellow Game of Thrones star Bella Ramsey. The show has had incredible success, and both the creators and the actors being praised for how accurate their portrayal of the source material is, and we don't doubt that it'll continue and even evolve into something huge for Pedro. Pedro actually mentioned that he felt like he and Bella were practically family because of their shared background, and he's really grateful for it. He also made sure to highlight that he had a really good experience with the show, and while he doesn't want to get his hopes up, he does hope that the show is well received and that the fans have just a great experience watching it. Something he is especially excited about is to see how fans receive the changes that have been made rather than the things that have been kept. According to him, it's his favorite part of the show. With all the success Pedro has gathered in his career, there's no doubt that he's going to go on and do even greater things in the future. And it's all well deserved, as he hasn't had the easiest path in life. Being a Latino immigrant in America was hard enough, but there's a lot more to the story. Pedro was born born into a Chilean family and had a pretty tough childhood, especially because his family has ties to a resistance group against the Pinochet dictatorship in Chile. For their own safety, Pedro's family had to seek refuge with the Venezuelan embassy in Santiago and were even granted political asylum in Denmark, but the family ended up moving to the United States, where Pedro was ultimately raised in California and Texas. Pedro led a pretty normal life for a few years, even getting into competitive swimming and later drama. He was accepted into the Orange County School of the Arts for his acting, and NYU's Tisch School of the Arts, where he graduated in 1997. But his home life got pretty complicated when his father got involved in a scandal where the fertility clinic he worked at was accused of committing tax and mail fraud, along with switching frozen embryos of women without their permission to give to another woman so she could have children. Pedro's dad did plead guilty in the trial, but he is currently out of custody on a $750,000 bail. Despite this incident, Pedro has a wonderful relationship with his father, and he fully supports everything Pedro does. Pedro has many times spoken about how proud his family is of him, and about his father he says, "My dad is so impressed. He loves the movies and would take us 2-3 times a week, so this fantasy of mine of becoming an actor, I can blame my father for that. He's amazed and so happy." His father himself has also expressed how he feels about the path that Pedro has chosen. Everything that is happening to him, he deserves enormously. He's also revealed that he loves to stay up to date with everything that Pedro does, even going as far as asking to be shown around on sets through video calls. It's very clear that Pedro has a very deep and loving relationship with his father, but unfortunately he hasn't got to experience the same things with his mother. In 1999, years before Pedro's career really started, his mother took her own life. His last name, Pascal, is actually his mother's maiden name. Pedro made the decision partly because it's easier for Americans to pronounce than Balmaceda, but mostly in memory of his beloved mum. Seeing him today, Pedro has been more or less healed from the tragedy and has been able to make his mother proud by engaging in the arts, something she had always encouraged him to do. Pedro has talked about her influence on his career even now. "She was always incredibly supportive, never a stage mum. I always felt like she knew something that I didn't. None of my success would be real if it weren't for her." According to him, he's learned to lean on other people when he's struggling after having to deal with a horrible loss. It's something he still very much carries with him, and he'll especially always be grateful to his friends, old and new, who have always been there for him no matter what. It's an incredibly beautiful lesson to learn from such a tragic event, and it's clear that he has built a wonderful support system despite everything weighing him down. Everything that he's been through has made him into the person he is today, and while nobody deserves to go through such tragedies, Pedro has been able to build something incredible with everything that life has thrown at him. And there's absolutely no doubt that his mother would be incredibly proud of him if she was here to see him. All of his achievements are even more impressive when you consider everything he has battled to achieve them, and it makes complete sense why he's so beloved by fans all over the world. So, what do you think of the hardships Pedro had to live through to get to where he is today? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching.